Hi, welcome to the ICT class. Today we'll be solving the November 2020 ICT Paper 2. Now in Paper 2, we'll be going through mainly, you will be asked to solve four topics. So that would be the data production or document production, data manipulation, and mail merge and presentations. So the duration for this exam would be 2 hours and 30 minutes. And within this time, the four tasks should be completed. So first I will begin with the document production. Now you are free to use any word processing software that can meet that can help you to solve the tasks according to the syllabus. Here I would be using Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word 2016. Now, before the start of the examination, while you are seated at the system, you are allowed to go ahead and check your system to make sure that it's working fine and all your softwares that you have worked on are available and are running fine. So make sure to do this before they hand over the question paper to you and you start your exam. Also, you will find your supporting files on your system, which has already been uploaded by the supervisor or by the examiner. So go ahead and unzip the file. You can do this before you receive the question paper. So once you have unzipped the file, you will find this is the file that you would be working on. The folder, go ahead and rename the folder. This would be your working folder, and all your files ensure that it is working or it is stored inside this file and not scattered anywhere else. So in case you need to switch computer, something is not working, the examiner would move you. So this folder, if all your work is inside this folder, it saves a lot of time, and this is a folder that the examiner would copy and move to another system. So always ensure that it's a good practice to have all your files that you're working on saved inside this working folder. It's also a good idea to rename the file to your name, your center number, and your candidate number. It just makes the folder more easily recognizable on the USB or whatever device the examiner is going to use in case they need to move you in the event you have a faulty system. So go ahead and open the files, and you can take a look at the files before you begin your exam. Now once the question paper is handed over to you, go ahead, quickly read through the paper and begin your work. Okay, so we'll start now with the document production part. So read all your instructions and fill up your details as the instructions given by the examiner. Now, for doing document production, they have asked you to go through the supporting files, cross-check that the supporting files as mentioned in this list is present inside the folder. And you can also open it up to make sure that the software is also working fine. Now let's begin with the first task. The first task is your evidence document. So the evidence document is already provided. So open it up, ensure that your name, your center number, and your candidate number appear on each page of your document. This is very important. If you don't do that, the printouts will not be handed over to you. So in your header itself, go ahead and insert your name, center number, and candidate number on every page. They have not mentioned whether it's at the top of the page or at the bottom of the page. Therefore, you're free to go ahead and place it at the header or at the footer. Once you have done that, save the document into your work area as N20 evidence followed by your candidate number, and they have given you the method also. Okay, so you can continue to save it as an RTF file. So let's just go ahead and open up our evidence document that is given to us over here. Okay, so I have the evidence document opened over here. So I'm going to go ahead and insert in my header a three-part header. It will make the alignment more clear over here. So you insert your name and your center number and the candidate number as is given by the statement of entry. And now go ahead and save the file. Make sure that the file is saved inside the same folder, okay, with your name and your candidate number. Whatever is the candidate number given to you, you can go ahead and save it inside your particular folder. Okay, once this is done, let's proceed on to the next task. So here we're going to start now with our document production, task 2. You are going to edit an information sheet. The company uses a corporate house style for all its documents. 2 paragraph styles have already been created. So you're going to be working on styles over here, and 2 styles are already in the document. Additional paragraph styles must be created and applied to the information sheet as instructed. So let's now go ahead and open the N20 event.rtf. Okay, so this is the event.rtf file which we have opened up. The page setup is set to A4 landscape orientation with 2 centimeter margins. Do not make any changes to these settings. So the settings have already been done for you. You don't need to do anything else. Save the document in your work area in the format of the software you are using with the file name RW detail. So you need to ensure that you're going to have the same name and you're going to save this file in the document file type. So here I'm using Word document. So I should be able to save this file inside the same folder with the name that they have given me. That would be RW details. So follow the same format that they have given. And this time I'm going to change the generic file format of RTF and make it as my Word document. So depending on which software you are using, use the file format as specified by the default file format of your document and save the file. Okay, let's move on to the next step. So in your evidence, place a screenshot to show that this file has been saved. Make sure there is evidence of the file type. So let's move to our folder. We now need to show this file that has been saved. So I can just move it up to the top and enlarge this part. I need to make sure that I can see Word document clearly. Now I need to take a screenshot and paste it into my evidence document. So you can either use a snipping tool that is available on Microsoft on Windows 10 systems, or you can also use directly the screen clip options that you have available over here. So I can go into insert and click on my screenshot, a screen clip, and move on over here and do my screen clip. So ensure that you get the folder name also, the name of the file, and the extension clearly. So extension should be very clear over here, name of the file and the folder in which you have saved your file. So this would be your first evidence. Okay, so this much is done. We have completed the first step. Let's move on to the next part. Place in the header your name, center number, and candidate number center aligned. So your name, center number, and candidate number come center aligned inside the header. So I'm going to move back to this document and just click over here and move towards the center and enter my name, my center number, and my candidate number. So this should be center aligned. So let me move it to the center. Okay, let's go back now. Okay, so let's insert the page number at the footer. So let's go towards the right side and go to insert tab at the footer. Let's go to the page number. Let's go to page number and insert it at the current position. So that is the automated page number at the right hand side. Okay, so we have finished this. Now make sure that all the alignments match the page margins. So alignments match the page margins means the page margins are given to you beforehand itself. So all our header and footer alignments should match the page alignment. There is no other text or placeholders included, so anything that is not required, you should not have it here. Like for example, if you're inserting a 3-part header, or if you're inserting in your header or footer like this, so make sure that the type here, all that is removed from the part that you don't want. Headers and footers are displayed on all the pages. So by default, it does get displayed on all the pages. If for some reason it's not getting displayed, you can just check under headers and footers whether you can go ahead and insert again and go ahead and check whether it is appearing on all the headers and footers. Okay, you can also come to the design part, and if by any chance any one of these options are selected, then unselect them. This option will ensure that the header is different on the first page and different on subsequent pages. This option will ensure that odd and even pages have got different headers. So if any of these have been checked by default, remove it off. By default it doesn't come, but in case your header and footer is not coming on all pages, you can go ahead and cross check this part under design. So I'm going to close header and footer over here and move on to the next part. Let's move to point number 3. At the start of the document, enter the title Tawara MTB Marathon Race. So data entry should be exact. Where they have mentioned capital letters, you have to mention it exactly the same, and the spellings also should be entered in the same. So at the start of the document, we need to be able to insert this. So let's go ahead and select this and copy it at the start of the document. So at the start of the document, I'm going to come here and I'm going to be pasting that over here. Okay, let's go back now. Create and store the following styles basing each on the default paragraph style. So we need to be able to create 3 styles. Already 2 styles have been created for us. So we need to go ahead and complete the remaining 3 styles that are given to us over here. Okay, now 2 styles have already been created. If we come here under the styles group, you can see 2 styles have already been created. Now we need to go ahead and start creating the next style. So the style they have given to us is here, RW title. So we need to make sure that the data entry is exactly the same. So I'm going to click on the drop down here and create a style and click on the style name. So I'm going to click on the style gallery and I can see the style that I have just created over here. So let's go ahead and modify this style and with what they have told us. So we need to ensure that the style is serif. So an example of the serif style is Times New Roman, and it is 36 points center aligned. So let's change this to 36 points center aligned, and it is enhancement is bold and italics. And the line spacing is single with no spacing before and no spacing after. So I can go to format and click on my paragraph styles and ensure that before and after is 0 and it is a single line spacing. So with this my RW style gets created. So I can go ahead now and create. Okay, and it is the paragraph style, which is it's based on the normal or the default paragraph style. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on OK and create the RW title style. The next one is my subtitle style. So again, I'm going to come here and create a new style. And you can see the subtitle style here and go ahead and modify it. and this time it is sans serif. An example of sans serif is your Arial, and it is 20 and right aligned. So I'm going to modify this to 20 and ensure that it is right aligned. And it is underlined enhancement and not bold and italic. Ensure that the previous styles are not to be seen in this particular style. Again, the format for the paragraph is the same. It is single line spacing with no space before, no space after the paragraph. And with this, I can go ahead and create my second style. And the next one is my subheading style. So I'll go ahead and create it. You can create the style from here also, but ensure that when you take a screenshot, you do not take a screenshot showing create. It should have already been created, and the word modify should come here when you create or when you take a screenshot of this style. So it is a serif style. So go ahead and change this back to Times New Roman. The size is 18 and it is a center aligned, and the enhancement is again bold and underlined, and single spacing, space before is 0, space after is 8 points. So single line spacing, but space after is going to be 8 points. So I'm going to take this and click on OK and make sure that you create the style. So I can see all the styles have been created over here. Now what is my evidence over here? Place in your evidence document a screenshot to show that the style settings have been defined for the subhead style. So let's go ahead and open up the subhead style. Let's modify this. So you can take a screenshot of this particular window, modify styles, and let's cross check again. It's serif, 18 points, bold, centered, and it is underlined. So space after is 8 points. Okay, so you can also open up the paragraph style and keep it in this side and take the style together. So that's also a way of taking a screenshot. So I'm going to click again on underline just to ensure that it is underlined for sure, and let's click here on paragraph and let's take a screenshot of this. I'm going to go to evidence 2 and take a screenshot of this. I've opened up snipping tool, so I'm going to use my snipping tool to snip out this and place it in my evidence document. So let's just click OK for each of these and go into our evidence document, space 2, and save the evidence over here. So the size of the evidence is quite fine. It shouldn't be too small. At the same time, it shouldn't be too big. So it fits quite well on our evidence document. Now keep saving your evidences and your document so that you don't lose any work at any point in time. So we have saved our files. Let's move on to the next part of our question. So now they're asking us to display these custom style names as a list in the style manager or organizer and provide evidence of this list. So let's come back over here and let's go ahead. This is our style manager. So I can see the styles clearly over here. So let's expand this a bit more and let's take the screenshot of this and paste it as evidence 3. So I'm going to insert the evidence for the style gallery over here. So I will use insert screenshot, go into my screen clipping and snip this part out. And let's either we can reduce the size a little bit so that it fits into that page. It should be fine. Okay, so first page is ready. You can go ahead and save this file and print page number 1 of your evidence so that you don't have the headache of printing all the evidences at the end in case you run out of time or your printers get jammed. It's a good idea to print page by page so that your evidences, because you'll have many evidence pages, are safe and with you, and your printing is done simultaneously. So let's move on to the next part. We finished step number 5. Let's move on to step number 6. The style RW body has been created, stored and applied to the document text. Modify the style so that only the following format is applied. So let's move to the body text. Let's move on to the body and modify this. Okay, and how have they asked us to modify? Make it sans serif 10 points or 10, the size as 10. So let's change this from serif to sans serif and change it to 10 points, and alignment is justified and there is no enhancement on it. So let's move to the justified enhancement. We can also go to format, font, and we can just check the same thing over here. Arial, we are going to go for the font style as regular. It's 10 points, and if they have asked anything else like small caps or a superscript, a subscript, it can be done over here. So I'm going to click on OK, and let's just cross check the paragraph part. They have asked us to make it alignment as justified, so I'm going to change this to justified. And let's take a look at the spacing that they have asked us. It is a single line spacing and the space after is 9 points. So single line spacing, I'm going to change this to from 1.5 because I clicked here, so it should go back to single line spacing and make the space after to 9 points. So that is sans serif 10 points, no enhancement, single line spacing and space after as 9 points, and it is justified. And what is our evidence? Place in your evidence document a screenshot of these style settings for the RW body style. So let's go ahead and open the format, the paragraph format, and let's use our snipping tool to snip this particular screenshot. So this would be our screenshot for the RW. And let's paste it over here. So let's close this part first and come back and paste it under evidence. So we are now on page number 2 of our evidence document, and our evidence size is also quite clear. Keep saving your file, and let's move on to the next step. Let me just go ahead and save this file also. And let's move on to the next step over here. So now we need to start applying the styles that we have just created. So apply the RW title style to the title text entered at step 3. So let's start applying our style. So this is the title that I had entered. So I'm just going to press enter for this, and let's go ahead and select this and apply the title style. Okay. Let's move on to the next part. Enter your name immediately after the subtitle event details by. So let's go ahead and you're going to enter your name over here. So whatever is the name that you would like to enter, go ahead and enter it over here and apply the subtitle style to the end of this line. So let's select this particular line and apply our subtitle style. So that's also done, and you can cross check the subtitle and the title style. Is it the same as the styles that we had created over here? So over here we can just cross check whether the title style and the subtitle style matches what we have applied on our document. Okay, let's go to step 9 now. We need to change the page layout. So starting from the subheading event format, the rest of the text in the report is displayed in 2 columns of equal width with 2 cm spacing between the columns. So starting from this particular subheading towards the end of the document. So we need to ensure that it's going to be as a two columns. It's going to be separated into 2 columns with 2 centimeters in between. So I'm going to change this now to 2 columns, and the width between the 2 columns has been specified as 2 centimeters. So let's give this a 2 centimeters width. So let's cross check 2 centimeters spacing between the columns. So we're going to change the spacing to become 2 centimeters between the 2 columns, and let's click and take a look.